From the 4th District, the Dean of the City Council, Mr. Jim Lee.
Wow, what an illustrious crowd. I'm inspired, and everybody should be inspired. It's great to be here with you, and it's great to see this many people here. It is really great. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you just for a few minutes. I would like to leave you with 3 thoughts and 4 facts that I picked at random. But before I do that, I would like to add just a couple of comments to Rick Barry's. I'm seeking my 4th term on the City Council. The first 2, our party was in the majority. This last term, we were not. Thanks to Rick, we were. And on key issues, he was a conservative that gave us our 4th vote, which was very important. And I really appreciate that. And we did have some real battles. My 3 thoughts to leave with you: develop a vision, plan, and prioritize. Nothing magic about it, but it has served me well during the 38 years that I served this state in education, particularly the last 16 as an athletic director across the street at Madison High School. A job that I dearly loved until Bob Cook talked me into running for city council. And this has been even a better job than that. And I love it because I love Madison so dearly, and because of the people that make up this fine city. The facts. We were just sworn in January for my 3rd term. Bill Goffinet, who works for IAC, Indiana Association of Cities and Towns, was in our council chamber late in January, a couple of weeks after we'd been sworn in, to give us an update on how property tax was going to work under the new way that it had been voted in. I'm sitting next to our mayor-elect, Mayor Armstrong, and he says to me, we are going to have to devise and develop some ways of instituting fees to offset the less amount of money that we're going to get in property tax. Wow, was that a vision? And he meant it. And he's proved it. My second fact. We have a fine municipal golf course in town. One of the best courses, one of the best municipal courses in the state of Indiana. When the course was first taken over by the city, it was generating a lot more income than it was expenses to run it. Gradually, the expenses became a little bit greater, and a little bit greater. The income stayed the same. Eventually, the expenses were a little bit more than the income. So, this was the first year of my 3rd term, and it was in our first meeting in February. And our superintendent of parks came before the city council, and the reason he came before the city council, because he knew the council was concerned about the fact that the expenses were running a little greater than income. So, he detailed to us in a very compelling way that golf courses all across the country were experiencing the same thing, because attitudes were changing somewhat with our society and things that they had to do. 4 hours on a golf course, for a lot of people, was no longer the kind of recreation that they like to be involved in. And there were more and more golf courses available for people to play. So there was a problem with that. But all of the reasons he gave us were excellent reasons. But we still wanted to keep our municipal course because it is something that's very important to a thriving community. And especially a community that has 19.4% of its population that are over 65. It gives that group something very worthwhile to do. This was the first council meeting in February. at the Parks Board meeting in March, the Parks Board votes to take over a second golf course in the city of Madison. A golf course that didn't make it financially. At the insistence of our mayor. We had that golf course in operation 1 year. We lost, well, I can't say we lost. The expenses exceeded the income by $99,648. And it was all because there was an interest group that wanted to keep that course alive. My third one at random. In the first two administrations that I served in, we paved a lot of streets. And you may think that paving the streets is no big deal, but it is a big deal. It is really a big deal. And, you know, you can get away not paving streets for a while if the streets are in good shape. And Mayor Huntington had the streets in good shape. So it is one thing that you can shift money to another area and you can get away with it for a little while. We have 65 miles of streets in our city. That's excluding Clifty Drive and Main Street and other places that the state is responsible for. A paved street, on the average, will last about 12 years, depending on how much it's used, how heavy the traffic is that travels on it. So, if it lasts for 12 years, we should be paving the average of 5.6 miles a year. 5.6 miles a year to maintain the status quo. I'm really a stickler for figures. I really am. And that's one of the things I really enjoyed about being on the city council. Let me give you the figures of the mileage that's been paved in the last 3 years. 2008, 1.2 miles. 2009, 2.7 miles. 2010, 1.8 miles. In 3 years, that is a total of 5.7 miles. That means, if you're lucky, the street in front of your house will be paved every 36 years. It doesn't work. It catches up with you. And my last fact at random. I could have picked a lot of facts. A lot of them. My last fact at random. The state of Indiana said a year ago, or said in 2009 that unless a city had an ordinance that specified how golf carts could be used in the city, they were going to be outlawed. Because cities all over the state, their golf carts were being used, and there were a lot of golf carts in Madison. My district, 4th District, surrounds our municipal golf course, that very lovely golf course I was telling you about. A lot of the folks in my district have golf carts, and they drive them to the golf course. So, what was going to happen is those were going to be outlawed unless we passed an ordinance that dealt with how those were going to be used. I'm happy to say that I wrote the bill for that ordinance and presented it before the city council. And the mayor was not in favor of that bill. We passed the bill in the summer, late summer of 2009. It went into effect in January of 2010. At the end of 2010, I asked our new chief of police, had there been any problems with golf carts? Had there been any violations? Had there been any situations in which he could point to that were trouble areas? Not a single violation was written. Not an accident had occurred. Everything had worked fine. And not only that, but there are reasons for us to have golf carts to be used downtown in our historic district. So I'm very proud of that fact, and I'm very proud to serve on the city council. And I do not have an opponent at the present time for my 4th term, but there's still time for them to come up with one. I would relish that. I love campaigning. Again, it's good to be here with you. We appreciate your support, and if anybody in here in this room is from the 4th District, I am asking you tonight for your vote. Thank you.